RotoGrinders Today. I'm Jordan Cooper, a.k.a. BlenderHD. BlenderHD, you're going to follow me on Twitter. And it's Thursday, January 9th, and we'll be taking a look at some props and pick'em plays for NFL Wild Card Weekend. We got 6 games on the slate. We got games on Saturday. We got games on Sunday. We got a game on Monday. And, we got some prize picks, underdog. We got, the regular straight sportsbook props. And so hit that thumbs up button anyway in the door. Give me those thumbs. Hit the subscribe button if you're new here. Hit the notification bell to know when we go live. Since we're talking props, since we're talking pick 'em, it's Grant Neefer from Scores and Odds and Parlay Science. Always putting together, I already saw on Twitter, when you get those boosts, the touchdown scorer boost, it's like, here we go. Here's 6 anytime touchdown scorer bets. And all you have to do is hit like one of those every 2 months and you're sailing home free.
Yeah, no, it's actually, I think it's funny. Those boosts, I get limited to $5 or $10 every single time. I think I've come close on a lot of them, which happens. It's always going to happen. But I think I had one, which I tweeted out, like $1,500 win on college football of all things, where I didn't know a single team. And I'm like, well, that pays like 151. All right, I have to hit one of those every 6 months or so, and I'm good. Yeah, they've worked out.
I hit one on the 2 weeks ago on the Saints Monday night game. It was on Caesars. It was a $5 one. I mean, I hit him on DraftKings. I mean, I hit a bunch, but the one on the $5 one, anytime it's like really low, I just go balls. I've learned from you to just go balls to the wall, but to have a $5 one pay like $1,700 is pretty damn good, especially when you take the third running back to score the last touchdown in the game for 22-1, and you throw it into $5 like 10 leg thing. That's always going to pay out pretty well.
Yeah. No, I mean, my ones to do are just, I always get these stepped up parlays for college football or college basketball. Yeah. And so, like, literally all I do, the only thing I do is look in there. All right, what's the max odds I can take? And it's like minus 300. And I go through and like minus 250, minus 250, minus 300, minus 250. Just don't even know what teams I'm betting on. Just get up to 10 of them. Like, all right, the juice is this much, 100% profit boost. Should roughly end up with a long-term 60%, 50% overall ROI. So I'm like, yep, all right, just throw those in. And I mean, over the last 4 years, I've netted probably $5,000 from them off of like 4K put in play. Obviously, I've landed on the right side of variance. Nice thing with those two is if you guys are ever doing those long shot parlays that are stepped up, if you want to, never ever cash out of those. That's the absolute worst thing you can do on profit boost. Absolute worst thing. What you do
most nights on the TO. I mean, from what I gather, I think if you read the fine print, if you cash out, you like it takes away the profit boost.
Yep. No, so that's what I'm saying. Never cash out. So okay. I generally don't like.
I mean, I don't think you should cash out in general unless like the money for some odd reason is like life changing. Oh, yeah. You might type it's like you bet your last $10 and now you can cash out for $26,000. Instead of going for 150, whatever. I mean, I could understand, but from an EV perspective, the cash out offer is never going to be plus EV compared to keeping the last leg or whatever the hell is left.
I mean, there are very few circumstances in which case there's a bad or stale line on whatever site you're betting on the opposite side, in which case it can potentially be positive EV. But realistically, 90% of the time, you're going to be better off hedging on another site if you really want to do that, which also negative EV. But on those 10-leg stepped-up parlays, like you're down to – I've had multiple times where it comes down to the last leg. Literally happened 2 months ago. The game got delayed. And, like, I've thought about, depending on how much – like I've had $4,000 or $5,000 or $6,000 ones that I'll throw. Like I remember back when – Scottie Pippen Jr. was playing for Vanderbilt. There was last leg of my 10-leg stepped-up parlay, which that was back when I still had $50 limits. So it was $50 to win $8,000. and Vanderbilt went to overtime. It was the last leg. I'm like, all right, I'm just going to put $1,000 on whoever Vanderbilt was playing to win. Vanderbilt ended up losing. So I'm like, all right, at least I got a G out of it, or 2 Gs, whatever it was. But yeah, never cash out profit boost. Like it takes away the profit boost. You're better off. Same game parlays, you probably can't do it, but most of the time you're better off just hedging in any circumstance. So yeah, that's my little advice for you.
Well, we got wild card weekend coming up. We got a whole bunch of games. As we always do on the show, we put together a prize picks card or a slip or whatever the kids call it these days. I know, Grant, you're in Colorado, so you don't have prize picks, but you do have tons of bets on the regulated sports books, which I have 6 of them available to me here in Kentucky. And typically the lines are similar enough. You kind of looking for like at least -117s, -115, -120s on prize picks. And obviously feel free to sign up for the props and pick 'em package here at RotoGrinders. If you're not playing DFS, you could just get our statistical projections for all the sports that we have projections for. You could use them for all your prop betting purposes. So we got 6 games. Do you think we're gonna put together a five pick card? So let's try to get like one from like every. I mean, if we could get one from every game and do a 6 pick one, that's fine. But let's try. Let's at least try to get one from every game for the people. For the people, we got the people's card. So let's start with do you got anything in the Chargers Texans game, the first game, the 4:30 Eastern game on Saturday? Anything that interests
you? I got one bet in that one, and it's going to be Herbert over passing yards. I mean, Houston has been good this season, but Herbert has been really good for a while. I'm checking. I mean, I'm not loving the line over at Prize Picks, but it's 2 yards different from what I got. I got 131.5, or sorry, 231.5 rather, and it's sitting at 233.5. I mean, Herbert is been playing pretty well the second half of the season. This is not a bad pass defense for the Texans, but Herbert will be playing in a dome here. He's been good recently. He's been hit the over in each of the last 3 games. It should be a fairly close game. I mean, what's the spread sitting on this? I think it was at around 3. I can't remember the exact
2.5 or 3 points, depending on where you go. Yep.
Yeah. So spread sitting at 3 here. So it should be a fairly close game. Obviously, the Texans are a bit of a dog here, but should still be close enough. Not projected to be terribly high scoring, but Quentin Johnson has been good lately. Vlad McConkey has been great lately. He has the weapons in this spot. This line's just a tad bit too low here.
So do you prefer the 233.5 pass yards to something like 20.5 pass completions or 31 pass attempts?
I mean, I'd probably passing yards on this one. I mean, I haven't looked at Prize Picks, so I'll check Prize Picks for passing attempts for him. So I'll check out passing attempts, but I think that Prize Picks is, they're at 31. Most other places are at 31.5 with heavier juice on the under, so it's roughly the same. There's still probably some value on the over 31, but I prefer to go with passing yards. And also, what happens if you have a push with Prize Picks on your pick 5, pick 6?
It just counts as a DMP. It counts like a DMP. It just goes down to like a 4 pick instead of a 5 pick.
Yeah. So I'd also rather not have, because I also have another one that's going to be a potential push. I'd rather not have the potential push on there because the odds, I think, are the juice on the Lions is much higher on a 4 pick than it is a 5 pick or a 6 pick. I think with 5 pick or 6 pick, it's like -119. On 4 pick, it's like -125, 126. So
yeah, the ones that kill you are the 3 pick ones, Grant. Like when you get it down to a 3 pick, it's awful. So like I necessarily don't mind going from a 5 to a 4, but definitely if you get like 2 and it gets down to a 3, yeah, those payouts are not nearly as good. So there's some consideration on picking cards that are even number that can push. But the next game, we got the 8 p.m. game Eastern on Saturday. The Steelers and the Ravens. I'm assuming Zay Flowers isn't playing. I mean, the fact that there are props up for like Wallace and Aguilar and all these guys, the books assume that Flowers isn't playing. Do you lean on anything on the Ravens Steelers game? Because it's quite possible that Wallace actually is going to run in front of Aguilar. But I mean, I think there's maybe some value in the alts for Aguilar or Wallace, because I think they're both hedging in the middle without Zay Flowers in. Like, I mean, I'm assuming they're just going to run the ball a lot more, especially as nearly a 10-point favorite. But I'm not sure about prize picks. But I think taking Wallace, alt receiving yards, ladders and Aguilar ones, I think it's much more likely like one guy gets 50, 60 yards rather than like they both have 20 yards each.
Yeah, well, I mean, we've seen Jackson many times get big plays, like big plays to Bateman, big plays to Andrews, big plays to Likely. So, yeah, I think there's a little bit more value. And if you're going to take Aguilar overs, probably go with the alt lines. But, yeah, I could see them just running the ball. If I had any interest, let me check what the line is. I haven't found any bets so far in that game, but I haven't looked extensively just because there's a huge range of outcomes in this game. Like, obviously, we know Pittsburgh-Baltimore games, generally they're going to be one-score games. Line sitting at 10, but Flowers isn't playing, so that means that Pittsburgh likely should be able to keep it closer. Baltimore forces the second, I think, highest pass attempts against. Pittsburgh likes to run the ball. We've seen this matchup twice already this season. Once Russell Wilson, I think, did good. Once Russell Wilson did not do good. I'm just pulling up his stats from those games. Yeah, 217 in one, 205 in the other, but I guess it was just ugly both times. I mean, Russell Wilson has not been great. Obviously, Pittsburgh coming into this is a 4-game winning streak. We can come back to this one, I say. I say we kind of avoid it at the moment because I have nothing that I'm real confident about.
That's perfectly fine. Hey, one thing that I stress that you don't if there's nothing of value, you don't have to bet it, right? There could be a game on. There could be a game on and there's no value and it doesn't matter. Then just don't bet. If there's nothing worth betting, then don't bet anything. Don't think that you have to. I mean, let's say we had 6 games and there was nothing worth betting. Then you just don't bet the whole weekend. And that's fine. It's absolutely fine. Of course, I still have people, I play poker with, and, it's 10 minutes before game time that ask me what to bet on. And my number one response is 10 minutes before game time, nothing. Like, there's really nothing to value here. It's, but I want a sweat or something like that. Like, that's not how you make money sports betting, right? But if you want entertainment, sure, go bet on whatever the hell you want. Okay, so let's go to Sunday's games. We got 3 games on Sunday. You got anything in the first game, 1 p.m. Eastern, Broncos and Bills?
Broncos and Bills, I got one. So let me double check. I think it's actually an even better line over on Prize Picks, but it's Coleman under receiving yards. Let me pull it up here real quick. Yeah, most books are at 27.5, 28.5, 29.5. Fanatics, which is not that sharp, 30.5. Prize Picks is all the way at 31.5. So we're getting some extra value on top of a line that I have value on, the under at 28.5. So we're getting 2 extra yards or 3 extra yards. Doesn't seem like much, but it is actually a decent amount, especially on this low of a number. Coleman has not been doing a ton pretty much this entire season, but they've been spreading out the ball a ridiculous amount. Obviously, this last weekend, he had 10 targets. Dismissed that. Allen wasn't playing. Like, that doesn't matter. And he had 7 versus the Jets, but still only ended up with 27 yards. Outside of that, he's been getting 1 to 2 targets a game. Like, they're mostly healthy. He's got so many guys to throw to. They spread the ball out. The spread on this is decently high, sitting at 8.5. So unlikely to be passing the ball too much. This could turn into a complete blowout here. going up against a Broncos defense that has been pretty darn good so far this season. They're top 5 in pass. Granted, they're better versus the rush, but you're not going to be able to stop Josh Allen in most scenarios. But overall, bad defensive spot. Line's just a little bit too high. Everyone's healthy. They're going to spread the ball out. So 31.5. Bit too high for Coleman, and it's higher than all the other books out there. So this is the best actual line on the board if you include sports books and prize picks.
Right. Just understand that you could lose this in one big play. This guy Coleman is that type of. I mean, just understand he could catch a 58-yard touchdown and you're done. But if he most of the time, a guy like Keon Coleman on an offense like the Bills, he's going to get 2 targets. If he doesn't come down with that one long pass, he'll get a 7-yard screen or something, and then that's the end of his game. That's it. You're done, right? You kind of have to fade that type of play, and that's why the line is as low as it is.
People always say, "Oh, what if he gets a long bomb?" Well, then he gets a long bomb. What if he gets 4 receptions that are all 10 yards? He gets that's how gambling works. You don't go off of fear, you go off of numbers, and the numbers are saying that he has well over a 50% chance of getting under 31.5 receiving yards in the spot. That's what I go off of. I'm more than willing to risk a long bomb if the likelihood of that happening is drastically less than the likelihood of it not happening.
Next game, we got the 4:30 p.m. Eastern game. We got the Packers and the Eagles. Got anything? Any Josh Jacobs? It seems like these two teams, the way that they want to play, these two teams, I could see this game having the least amount of plays out of all 6 games on the slate, because I think if the Packers are down by a touchdown, they're still running the ball a lot.
Yep. Oh, yeah. No, that could absolutely happen, especially with Watson out. I'm more interested in Jalen Hurts over. He has been running the ball a ton this season, especially the second half of the season. Lions currently sitting at 36.5 over at Prize Picks, 36 to 39.5, depending on what book you're betting on actual sports books. But he's hit the over at this line, and I think 8 of the last 9 games. This is a playoff game. He's going to be running the ball. Philly wants to run the ball. They want to run the ball. They want to keep guys close to the line of scrimmage, and then they want to take deep shots. They don't want to pass the ball. They might only pass the ball 25 times in this game. They're projected to win. Hurts likely going to get 10, 15 rush attempts, or right around 10 rush attempts, most likely one. But he's been doing a lot on the ground the second half of the season, and that's the best way they can possibly win. Yes, I know he's coming back from a concussion, but he should be good to go.
I mean, one of the people in chat is like, are you concerned that maybe they'd be hesitant to call design running plays because he's coming off of a concussion? I get the sense it's a playoff game. I don't think Jalen Hurts gives a shit.
Yeah, he doesn't. He doesn't. The coach doesn't. He's cleared from concussion protocol. Yes, I believe there is a slight increased chance at concussions if you've had one recently. But he's got 2 weeks to heal. He should be fine. If you're cleared, generally the risk of re-injury is not great. It's more of if it's happened, and you haven't fully recovered. But if he plays, he should be good to go. If he's good to go, he's going to be running the ball, I believe. This line just a little bit too low. I mean, he's hitting it at a massive clip. And the matchup here isn't a terrible one, but doesn't really matter because Hurts is still going to get some design runs. He's still going to scramble. This line is just straight up too low.
Okay, the night game on Sunday, the 8 p.m. Eastern game, probably we're getting into the better games, at least from DFS purposes, maybe watchability purposes. We got the Commanders at the Buccaneers. It's the highest total. You got anything in this game? I'm assuming you like some Jaden Daniels, some Terry McLaurin, some maybe the Evans lines are a little too high, but there's got to be some goodness in this game.
So I think I'm going with McMillan under 50. I got it at 53.5. Prize Picks says at 51.5. I still like that.
So you like the less than. You like less than 51.5.
Yeah, less. Yeah, I mean, obviously there's better odds. I got it over at Caesars at plus 100 on the under at 53.5. So better odds over on sportsbooks. And if you want, you can wait for this line. It might go up more. People are loving what McMillan has been doing recently. But Otten should be back in this spot, which a lot of McMillan's production has come without Otten in the offense. Washington, not a great defense, obviously, not great at defending almost anyone, wide receivers or tight end. I think they're pretty good versus receiving running backs, but outside of that, they're just not a great pass defense. Millen has been great recently, but he's also faced New Orleans. He's faced Carolina. He's faced Dallas. Like, he's faced Vegas. The only actual decent defense that he's performed well against has been the Chargers. And I think, was Evans out for that game? No, Evans was in that game, and Otten was there, but that was also a game where Baker just played really well, and the Bucs played really well. The Bucs are probably going to keep the ball on the ground a decent amount in this spot. I mean, Irving has been just fantastic recently. They're a 3-point favorite, so slight lean towards passing the ball less. But McMillan, he's been great, but they still have Evans. They should have Otten in this spot from what I've seen. So I'm more on the under of McMillan than anything else. I don't hate going with Jaden Daniels overs. What's his passing attempts at?
Passing attempt 32 on Prize Picks.
Why am I? Is he only on Prize? Oh, I spelled Jaden wrong. That's why.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, the line's in between 31.5, 32.5. Heavier juice on the over 31.5. So it's kind of right in line with the market. Maybe it's tad bit over. But I prefer the McMillan under in this spot. I think that line's just a bit too high. Everyone's just so like, oh, he's been so good the last few weeks. And he has. He's been great. He's clearly the number 2 option. He's kind of going into that Godwin role a little bit, but he's not Godwin, and he's probably due for some negative regression.
Definitely negative. Definitely regression on touchdowns. He's become like Nikhil whatever Westbrook Akine.
Nick Westbrook Akine, yeah.
I think what?
Yeah, no. When you have
what is it? On like 35 catches or something.
Yeah. I think it's less than 35. Let's see. It's 24 catches in the last 5 weeks. Of those 24, 7 were touchdowns. So 28% of catches have been touchdown catches over the last 4 weeks. And that's in an offense where you have Mike Evans, who's a great touchdown threat. It's going to regress at some point. I don't know when. 8 of 32 on the season, though. That's very Nick Westbrook-esque, to say the least.
Okay, last game of the weekend. It's the Monday night game. Got the Vikings at the Rams. Vikings as a road favorite. What do you like in this game?
So, I mean, I'm all over a lot of the Rams overs. I actually like the overs on Darnold too a little bit, at least his passing attempts over. But my favorite one I think is Stafford over passing attempts, and sitting at 32.5, 33.5, depending on which site you're at for sports books. Prize Picks has it at 33, which we don't have another one that could potentially tie. So yeah, if we're only going down to 4, in the case that this does end up pushing, we're fine. But yeah, Vikings, I've been on this so much the entire season. I'm pretty sure I've talked about it multiple times on this show, so you might know it's coming. But the Vikings, before last week, they were forcing the highest percentage of opponent passing plays in the entire league. Now they've dropped all the way down into 3rd, still basically near 1st, and that was just because they played Detroit, who can run on anyone. I don't care who you are. They can run on you. Their pass defense is good. Their rush defense is better. They're a massive pass funnel. Stafford has been playing decent recently. He has a lot of weapons. Their offense has been largely anemic recently. But, I mean, it is what it is. He still had even last week against or 2 weeks ago against the Cardinals. Like every single game they played in the last 3 weeks, outside of last week where they sat their starters, have been incredibly low scoring. I'm not expecting that here. They're going to pass the ball a lot. We're going to see Stafford put some points on the board. Williams is going to struggle to run in this spot, I think. So lots of quick passes, especially going up against the Vikings, who blitz a ton. Like, who are probably the best 2 wide receivers to have against a team that brings a lot of pressure, where you know exactly where they're going to be at any given time? It's Puka and it's Kupp. Like, guys who are great route runners, who know how to get open. So the volume there is great. So if you want to take Puka overs or Kupp overs, I'm fine with both of them. But I'm rolling. My favorite bet in this game is the Stafford over pass attempts.
They also got Higbee back, so that helps them as well with that.
Yeah. So they're kind of set up to be. They're the healthiest they've been pretty much all season long, and their defense has been great. But Vikings, outside of last week, they always seem to put points up on the board. So it's going to be a fun game. That's actually the game I'm looking forward to most this week. Like, that Vikings and Rams game is going to be fantastic.
Okay, so let's put this up on the screen. I already got it in. So for the show, we got Justin Herbert, more than 233.5 passing yards. Keon Coleman, less than 31.5 receiving yards. Jalen Hurts, more than 36.5 rushing yards. Jalen McMillan, less than 51.5 receiving yards. And Matthew Stafford, more than 33 pass attempts. Grant, people could find you in the Scores and Odds, Parlay Science, Discord. Where are you posting all your bets?
Bets are going to be between Parlay Science, Discord, Scores and Odds, Action Network app. I do stuff for all three. And then, if you guys are watching the games during halftime or 2-minute warning, go on over to the Action Network Discord. We'll be doing Bet What Happens Live for, I think, either me and Nick, or Nick and someone else will be doing it every single game. So get to the 2-minute warning, just hop in the Action Network Discord. Like you said, the worst possible time is to bet before the game, like just 10 minutes before the game. Potentially the best time to bet is during the game. You, like, near halftime, we've been incredibly profitable the last 2 years. And like, there's huge value to be had, and you can get drastic. Like, the reason why it's bad to bet 10 minutes before the game is because enough action has come in and enough different books can see each other and kind of get the line to where they want to be. Look at sharp books. Live, they can't keep up with everything. Like, they just have a set algorithm, and there's going to be some flaws, and there's going to be something that they haven't incorporated, and there's 20, 30 different things to bet on because they have receiving props, rushing props, everything. So we found a huge edge in that and done well. So go get into the Action Network Discord, and I think you can still do it for free, but just come stop on by if you have time at 2-minute warning. Even if you're at the bar, throw your headphones in, hop into the Discord, and we'll give you the bets. You don't have to do anything, and you just have to sign into the sports book, place the bets, and that's it.
Well, if you don't do that, at least hit that thumbs up button on your way out the door. Give me those thummy thumbs. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell to know when we go live. Tomorrow I'll be on talking deep GPP strategy, especially for this, the Saturday through Monday. I like the way the DraftKings, what their main slate. I think their main slate is like all 6 games. But we'll talk a little bit about the Saturday slate, 2-game, 3-game, a little bit of strategic differences, but we'll be ranking all the teams like I normally do on Fridays. So tune back then, because I'm here for you every weekday, most weekdays, not every weekday, but most weekdays, talking about all things you're thinking about in daily fantasy, props, and pick on RotoGrinders Today.